People better buckle up because what's coming in the next 12 days could change everything. November 1st, that's when the world hits a big bang moment, a reset that will reshape the global order for decades to come. We're talking about the dollar losing dominance, gold stepping up as the world's backbone, and the defining question of our time. Can China's Communist Party and Trump's America First movement find some kind of common ground at all? Or are we heading towards an open kinetic conflict with China? War. It all comes down to the Trump-Xi Jinping summit on November 1st, 12 days from now. And the stakes literally couldn't be higher. Over these next 12 days, here on our channel, we're going to break down how both sides are shaping the global narrative and what it means for you, because what's happening will ripple through every investment market, every economy, every household, and it's going to affect all of us.
I have a very good relationship with President Xi, and we're going to see what happens. But you know, for years we were taken advantage of by China very badly. We were losing hundreds of billions of dollars a year to China. We really built their military, if you think about it. The kind of money that presidents allowed to be lost to China was just insane.
I always try to focus on preparation and education, trying to help you spot the opportunities that come out of global chaos. I'm a glass half full kind of guy, and 2025 has already shown us how massive these opportunities can be. We've seen together how gold and silver, as well as mining stocks, have surged, skyrocketed in 2025. And today I'm going to show you now what I consider to be my number one no holds barred new idea for the coming decade, because it follows all of the riots, unrest, security threats, and tragedies that we've witnessed as both our country and many other countries are going through revolutions right now. I'm really calling this shift the Great Reserve Realignment, from dollar debt right now to hard metals, because the coming Trump-Xi Jinping standoff is the pinnacle of a half century of U.S. dollar supremacy, which is now collapsing. I mean, it is the world's reserve currency, but for how much longer? We are entering an era that none of us have ever lived through before. None of us. For 50 years, the dollar treasury complex was the backbone of global finance. That system is now breaking apart in real time. Central banks around the world are pulling back from U.S. debt, flooding into physical gold. And it's not a passing trend, it's policy. We've seen gold's incredible ascent, just as I predicted, and we've detailed here on the channel. We're seeing foreign central banks stopping the recycling of U.S. trade surpluses into U.S. bills and bonds and ceasing this lubrication of globalization. It's grinding to a halt, and they're stopping to subsidize American deficits. They're done. This is a monumental shift, guys. And you can see it in two data streams that I've been studying over the past few weeks. Number one, a multi-year downdrift in foreign official appetite for U.S. government paper. They don't want U.S. Treasuries. It's all being led by China. And number two, an unprecedented, sort of persistent bid for physical gold by central banks. I know it seemed like cute at first. Oh, all these central banks are buying gold. Yeah, that's just a fun thing. Now gold's over $4,300 an ounce. They're dumping U.S. Treasuries, and all of these central banks around the world are buying up as much gold as they can. This isn't cute anymore. Why are these two things happening? Well, because three big shocks changed everything that I want to go over right now. Number one, the weaponization of reserves. When the West suddenly froze Russia's assets in 2022, it sent shockwaves. It made sanction risk very real. In multiple countries, not just Russia, Biden and the EU's sanctions really screwed over all of us. Never before had we seen something like this. We're going to steal your money? Okay, and then we're going to give it to Ukraine? Number two, you have debt math right now. The math is stunning. China's U.S. Treasury holdings are now at their lowest since 2009. They're hoarding gold instead and dumping U.S. Treasuries. And number three, a fractured trade system. Beijing is pushing for a gold-anchored yuan system to reduce dollar friction and build its own reserve network around the world. Beijing anticipated this environment, and they are pushing yuan usage and gold-linked plumbing to sort of cushion this dollar friction and transition in their country.
So let's begin with how much gold you think China actually has.
Yeah, China has been understating its gold reserves by possibly a factor of 10. And I believe this is the biggest story in world finance. I've been arguing that this is a huge, huge story for many years. I've been tracking it along with a couple of other gold analysts out there. And the West is just asleep at the wheel, or they're ignoring it, or it's just one of these stories. It's so huge that it's easier just to leave it to somebody else further down the road.
The dollar treasury system isn't over yet, because people will be like, oh, the dollar's not dead yet. Yet, exactly, yet is the correct word. But the mix is changing right in front of our eyes in real time. Listen to this data that I've been going over. It's stunning. Central banks bought over 1,000 tons of gold in 2024, the third year in a row. China's central bank has now been buying for 11 straight months. Poland, their gold reserves just passed the European Central Bank's own holdings. In June, the Shanghai Gold Exchange opened its first offshore certified gold bullion vault in Hong Kong and then launched new yuan-denominated gold contracts. This isn't just optics, it's reserve plumbing that now allows non-dollar physical settlement and storage. And Beijing is inviting friendly central banks to just go and buy and store gold bullion, pulling foreign official reserves into China's orbit. So now those reserves sit in China. And many nations are now repatriating their gold bullion, bringing it home, getting it away from foreign countries. The idea of the multipolar order is here and protecting themselves against future sanctions. I mean, Russia learned its lesson. So it's about building a parallel rail right now that becomes harder to sanction, more attractive as tariffs and geopolitical frictions suddenly multiply. And in such a world, central banks do not have to choose one system. They can hedge with gold and they can transact through multiple pipes, multipolarity. This isn't a theory. This is a total global pivot towards a multipolar, gold-anchored world. None of us have lived through this, guys. This is away from US dollars. You know, maybe grandpa sitting there on a rocking chair who's 95 years old could talk about a time when we saw something similar. But none of you watching right now have lived through this. None of us. This is all away from US dollars. And it's all converging on November 1st. The Trump-Xi Jinping showdown. It's like Gary Cooper and High Noon kind of stuff. It's about to get very real. Trump's America is rebuilding its industrial base. You're seeing Apple and others building massive manufacturing in the United States. Sure, a lot of it is AI warehouses and server farms and all of this kind of stuff. But still, that's coming home now, using tariffs, and they're reshoring as tools of sovereignty in the United States. Beijing is doing the same thing, building alternatives to the dollar system. What we're witnessing is nothing short of a fight over the next world reserve structure. The U.S. has embraced reciprocal tariffs and strategic industrial policy. That shifts the terms of trade. It raises the premium on secure supply. It nudges these reserve managers to suddenly diversify. Beijing now sees the shift as durable U.S. statecraft, not a passing political spasm that like Trump just woke up and did one day and then he's going to reverse it. No. This is like permanent. And I do too. I see it as a permanent move. Trump's policies will not be reversed. Like this genie is not going back into the bottle. Washington brings market power and energy dominance. Beijing brings manufacturing scale and gold-backed settlement systems. And for the first time in modern history, central banks now hold more gold than U.S. Treasuries. Meanwhile, back home, America's fiscal picture is terrible. It's terribly grim. I know the MAGA guys can spin it any way they want, but the national debt just hit $37.6 trillion. On its way to 38. Interest payments have crossed $1 trillion a year, more than our entire defense budget. Projections show debt to GDP climbing to 102.2% by late 2026. That's terrible. That's how unsustainable this system has become. This is a economic system that's facing collapse. There's really no other way to see it. I don't know how you see it any other way. The government shutdown drags on right now. Courts are blocking layoffs. The Supreme Court's operations are scaled back. The Supreme Court closed public access. Funding shortages are threatening court delays across the country. These hurdles, which are a judicial overreach, hamper Trump's agenda right now, echoing sort of a Nixon-era tactics under the 1976 National Emergencies Act. The deep state is fighting Trump's reforms tooth and nail. We learned this week, by the way, that George Soros is once again funding these protests in Portland and Chicago. And all the ones you saw in Washington, D.C., 200,000 people in Washington, D.C. Oh, yeah. They just came out organically all on their own. Yeah, right. Sure. So, yes, the next 12 days are going to be unforgettable. Trump's MAGA movement, Xi Jinping's Chinese Communist Party are staring each other down. At the same moment, this dollar system is cracking. Trump knows this. This is like his Hail Mary moment here. What Trump and China do next will forever change this country, in my opinion. So that's the news update part of today's video. Now I want to tell you about today's sponsor because in the middle of all of this chaos, there is a massive opportunity most people don't even know exists yet. Ultimately, these unprecedented changes reflect a once-in-a-lifetime pivot. While America's sovereignty resurgence through border fortification, tariff-driven reshoring, rejection of hyper-globalization, positions it right now for a renewed strength and security here at home. I mean, I was shocked when I heard that interest payments now cost more than our entire defense budget, which is how I began sort of getting interested in effective ways to have security for the United States of America, the Doge way, if you will. And I've stumbled upon a major finding. Our channel has seen and covered some of the biggest events ever, but in the coming minutes, I'm going to tell you something about a huge potential that includes the DHS, the TSA, MIT, Lincoln Laboratories, DOE, PNNL, Customs and Border Protection, the White House, Secret Service, and more. It's actually pretty crazy. And I just was traveling this weekend. I mean, it's Sunday right now and got in about 2 in the morning last night, going through crazy delayed security and all of these issues. So I'm telling you, this is in need of an absolute overhaul. And this is what the Trump administration is doing right now. At the center of these agencies and R&D labs, there's a story about exclusive licenses, cutting-edge patents, $1 billion exits, game-changing government mandates, and sole-source contracts, as well as the Los Alamos National Laboratory, international airports, and a stock that is trading near its all-time lows with only a $17 million market cap, even after raising $45 million and spending the funds on breakthrough products. So I rarely, if ever, showcase companies and stocks in this particular sector at all, but I simply had to break my cardinal rule and do this because the timing of this one is of utmost importance. When you have the United States government hiring over 100,000 ICE agents and the move towards national security right now, I had to share with you at this pivotal junction and this intersection of how many sort of hyper-growth trends are all happening at once, in my opinion. So at the heart of it all is a man by the name of Bill Frayne. He's the CEO of today's sponsor, which is a company called Liberty Defense. Here's their ticker symbol on your screen. It's LDDFF in the United States stock market. Shares are available on all the big brokers like Interactive Brokers, Schwab, Fidelity, E-Trade, just to name a few. Now, because of everything that's happening in the United States, the government has been focusing on breaking free of Biden's green energy scam. And it's been redirecting the focus on companies that provide valuable products for security purposes that cover airports, stadiums, government facilities. And there's one big finding that I found. So Liberty Defense is down 85% in 8 months. Look at this on your screen, how low this is right now, 85%. The company has raised $45 million. Its current market cap is $17 million. And it's developed and began commercializing one of the most competitive and innovative products of its kind, in my opinion, in accordance with Trump's new TSA mandate and DHS requirements to make Americans safe and airports far more efficient and much more travel-oriented. Trump wants to make airports a breeze to get through without jeopardizing safety. But this is the most important part of the story. Liberty Defense is working closely with Trump's TSA, in which could be a game-changing moment for the company. The Department of Homeland Security and the TSA are not only impressed with the company's products, but the TSA has actually granted Liberty Defense a sole source contract with a $6 million in grants. So guys, this is already happening as we speak. And so from my standpoint, the most important reason that I'm featuring Liberty Defense to you right now is because the TSA has issued a mandate that airports must, and I repeat, must begin screening employees for explosive type threats, including metallic and non-metallic threats. Yes, bad guys using 3D printed guns. They're not made of metal anymore. They're made of polymers and plastics. So derived from cutting-edge MIT Lincoln Labs research, enhanced through partnerships with the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, Transportation Security Administration, HexWave system is what you're looking at here, is a walk-through portal that employs millimeter wave technology, advanced 3D imaging, and AI to detect both metallic and non-metallic concealed threats. Now, unlike traditional metal detectors, which fail against plastic or 3D printed guns, HexWave scans individuals in real time as they pass through processing up to 700 people per hour without requiring them to remove jackets, shoes, or take anything out of your pockets. No more taking phones or AirPods or glasses or anything out of your pocket. This contactless, high throughput design minimizes disruptions while maximizing accuracy. It reduces false alarms, and it also reduces the need for those invasive pat-downs, so they can just speed people right through the airport. Out of hundreds of publications that I released in 2025, this is without a doubt one of the most paramount. Liberty Defense has developed what's called the High Definition Advanced Imaging Technology Upgrade Kit. It's a transformative solution that is not only faster and less invasive, but is also capable of detecting next generation threats. With more than 1,000 units deployed across the U.S. alone, but these older machines are already showing their limitations. They generate low resolution images. They make it harder to detect non-metallic threats. They require shoe and belt removal, slowing passengers down. They have a high false alarm rate, which frustrates travelers and increased labor costs. I went through this same exact security yesterday. Had to take off my stupid belt. So frustrating, so annoying. The TSA knows these problems all too well. That's why in recent years, the DHS's Science and Technology Directorate launched a mission. They want to reimagine the checkpoint scanner from the ground up. And Liberty Defense's HD AIT upgrade kit emerged as the ultimate answer here. Rather than scrapping those thousands of machines that exist already, the HD AIT kit retrofits all of them and has this new imaging hardware, advanced signal processing, and that AI-based threat recognition. The result is like turning a 1990s television into a modern 8K flat screen. Higher definition imaging provides clearer detection of metallic and non-metallic threats, fewer false alarms, reduce costly secondary security inspections, faster throughput, makes checkpoints smoother and more efficient, increasing passenger experience. More importantly, this kit is backwards compatible, meaning it can instantly upgrade the existing AIT fleet rather than requiring airports to purchase entirely new systems. So just so we're all on the same page here, the TSA has awarded Liberty Defense a sole source contract, and the patent and technology is exclusively licensed to Liberty Defense. Yes, they own the patent, which means at an estimated cost of $125,000 per upgrade kit, and with 1,000 units in need of upgrade in the United States and another 600 to 1,000 abroad, is that for a company with a current market cap of $17 million, the upside potential is enormous, at least as I understand it. Anyways, guys, research Liberty Defense Holdings. Here's their ticker on your screen. Do your own homework on this one. I'll have links in the description so you can dive in and study this all for yourself. And we'll see you next time, everyone.